To the Batmobile. Let's go.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.
Hulk! I'll be back. Smash!
With great power comes great responsibility.
You are the chosen one!
Bond. James Bond.
I'm Batman.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to today's feature, the show where two guys watch a movie that's relevant to something that's happening on the weekend. We usually like to watch a movie that's related sort of to a movie that's coming out in theaters. Either way, we'll let you guys know what we'll be watching in a week in advance. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Steven.
So, yeah, this week, as we were looking at what's coming out, there's a few movies coming out, but one that caught our eye was The Witch. We're hearing some pretty positive feedback from that.
Which is kind of surprising.
There's always at least one scary movie that gets some good buzz every year. Last year was It Follows. The year before was The Conjuring. So this will probably be the one that a lot of people are talking about, or at least that's what it appears to be. So we wanted it to be related to that. So we decided to watch Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. And this is a movie that at least I haven't seen.
I haven't seen either.
Yeah, so at this point, prior to this, we did not see the movie, and I watched the trailer, and I was a little excited. Not excited like, oh, I need to see this, but it looked like it could be fun.
Yeah, I recall seeing the trailers when the movie was coming out, and it seemed like it was a fun concept.
Yeah, you can't take these movies, I guess, too seriously. You know, maybe they'll try to pitch for a sequel or a series of some sort, but either way, yeah, I looked at the trailer, I saw Jeremy Renner was in it, and I know him from several things, as you know, Hawkeye, and being nominated, so it could be pretty good.
For sure.
So I guess the movie starts, and the first thing I see some names, and I saw that it was produced by Will Ferrell, and I was just like, oh, Jesus, this is going to be... I don't know what to think, because I don't personally remember seeing that like being advertised or even like a big pitch like, oh, this is a Will Ferrell movie.
No, that was something that surprised me too when I saw it was Gary Sanchez Productions, which is Will Ferrell and Adam McKay. So right off the bat too, I was very surprised to see that.
Yeah, and then I think I saw MTV or
It was something like that.
MTV, so I was just like, okay, there's, again, I know it's not going to be taken too seriously, so it could be just fun nonsense. So, yeah, how does the movie start?
Oh, how it starts off is it was like the children and their parents tell them to leave the house and they could take them in the woods, and then all of a sudden they see the gingerbread house.
Yeah, so basically the generic story of Hansel and Gretel, if you're unfamiliar with it, which would surprise me, but yeah, the two kids go into a gingerbread house, and there's an evil woman, and there's something to do with she's trying to cook them.
She's trying to
something
fan
like
them
that.
up.
So yeah, it starts out exactly like the fairy tale that everybody's grown to know.
And I remember, what was your thoughts about that? I thought it was kind of...
I thought it was
a little ridiculous.
I thought it was a little quick.
And the witch kind of
for
like
sure. The
Gary
witch
Busey.
was
kind of reminded me of our childhood, actually. But
yeah, the witch was a little bit. Yeah, she was.
It was like screaming.
Yeah, a little bit
Wasn't
over the
saying much,
top.
just like throwing food and trying
And
to
why
find-
this would make you want to hunt further witches, I would probably not want to. I would probably run away. And like, okay, I never want to go into a house like that again. But no, these people, Hansel and Gretel, they defeat the witch rather quickly.
Yeah.
Again in a fire, which surprised me. I thought there was going to be a little bit more to it because, I mean, if they want to show you that this is due to the fairy tale, they should show, I guess, a little bit more. But they
They
summed
skipped
it
over the whole breadcrumbs.
Yeah, they just saw a house in the woods, and then they went to it.
Candy. They went in. It was dark, and then all of a sudden, there's a crazy lady trying to fan them up.
Yeah, so after that,
After that, it was the opening credits,
the opening credits,
which
which
I
showed,
actually really liked.
yeah, it was very good artistic. The art was really good. One thing I will say about this movie is I think it looked really nice.
Yeah,
I
I'll agree
think
with
the
that.
sets, the costumes, even the witches, I don't think looked over the top, most of them. There were a couple,
There were a
but
couple later on.
yeah, there were a couple that looked kind of weird, but to the majority, they didn't. Not all of them looked all the same. So yeah, the opening is a good reflection of that, where it showed like didn't physically show them doing anything, just basically in art form and newspapers and stuff like that. Hansel and Gretel appear and defeat fine kids or whatever they were had to do.
Yeah, so I thought the opening credits was very solid. Love the art and had this metal music as well, which was kind of interesting. So there, from there, we're taken to this town. I think it's Augsburg, and we see. I was happy to see. I didn't know he was in the movie. Was Peter Stormare?
Oh, yeah. I when I saw him, I was just like, oh, that's the guy from
He's in
Armageddon, and
everything.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
in another one coming out or something like that. He's in a commercial right now, so yeah, yeah. It's always good to see him. You know that he's lively and
whenever you cast him, it's you can't take it too seriously. He's kind of a fun casting. And so I think there's being a witch is being accused, or a woman's being accused of being a witch.
yeah, she's being accused. I don't think there's any proof or evidence at this point
No.
that she was a witch. So it's basically like Salem witch trials where they were gonna burn her regardless of proof or
Oh
anything
yeah,
like that.
she sneezed. She's a witch.
Yeah,
Anything
exactly.
like that, they could accuse you for anything.
Yep.
Like,
And it's because a lot of kids, I believe, went missing, and they or there was a child that went missing, and she was obviously the one that was doing it because yeah, she looked at somebody the wrong way.
okay, and I think from there we cut to it was kind of a long and pointless witch hunt, I think. Um, and it was I think he used another bow and arrow, so right away it just immediately reminds you of Hawkeye.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, I understand why they're going to bring a lot of witches in this movie. They want to show different, I guess, spells or different things that they can do. They kind of appear almost throughout the movie that they can do anything, so it's hard to believe that these people can beat them. But yeah, yeah, exactly what you said. Yeah, the bow and arrow, quick relevant to Hawkeye. Was this before or after Avengers? I think it was after.
Let me see. So this was 2013, so this was a year
This
after.
is after the Avengers. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it could have been a nod. It could have been just them
I think
not
it's just the
thinking.
action they wanted to do
Yeah.
with. Okay, from there we have the villain of the movie, Muriel's first appearance, which is Famke Janssen, and
From X-Men,
I
yeah.
thought her first appearance was great,
Oh,
and GoldenEye, of course.
oh, and Goldeneye, yes. Yeah, no, no, she, just from the get-go, yeah,
It's kind of fun, yeah.
yeah, she established herself fairly quickly. So, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, and then I remember we went to a bar scene, and they met a fan
Oh, yes,
who's
yeah,
Ben.
that, it's weird, yeah, this fan's in it for, throughout the movie, I guess.
It's kind of like, okay, he's in there, but
I don't think it was necessary to make him
no.
a fan of theirs. Like he felt like he had like their newspaper clippings, and like coincidentally he's there at the same time. I don't think it was necessary. It could have been just some guy that wanted to help out.
Yeah,
That would have been all right.
and then the witch left one person remaining alive, and that man came in the bar and he exploded.
Oh yes, actually, yeah. That you knew something was going to happen. I wasn't sure if it was going to be an explosion. And this movie is a little gory, I will say that. Like, or sometimes over the top, sometimes not.
Very intentionally, and it probably has something to do also with
With the producers
the
and
European director as
oh
well.
yes, yeah, the director of I think he did Frostbite or
He
something like
did
that.
Dead
Dead
Snow
Snow,
and
yes.
he's from Norway. It's
I don't think
Tommy.
he's done anything since. So, I mean, I guess we'll talk
I
more
think
about
it was
that
a
in a little
sequel to
bit.
Dead Snow, but yeah. So from there, I remember you see there's kids in these cages, which immediately, I don't know about you, but it immediately reminded me of Ernest Scared
Oh
Stupid for a
yes,
moment.
yep. Just waiting for the
Because they
kids
did
to.
show, I think, a bit of a troll as well walking around.
Yes, that's true. There's a troll in this
Or
too. I
he's
forgot about
ogre
that.
or
No, I love that. Well, first of all, not to go off that topic, Ernest Scared Stupid is
Edward.
amazing. Oh, Edward, yes.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I just remember Ernest Scared Stupid. Them turning the
love
kids
that
into
movie. Yeah,
dolls.
yeah.
Man, I know a lot of adults are still scared of that. I don't even know how they
I
managed to make that.
That's a confession of mine. I was actually terrified of that, which I was always confused why I was scared of it, but it makes sense to me because when I was watching it, I was a kid and he was targeting kids,
Oh no,
and he
there's
wasn't.
a lot of adults, like I said,
But
that
it's
I
so
know that
funny
are
there at
like,
the end
no.
where when he starts waltzing with him,
Yeah, and like
he's
you
like,
can watch it
you're
today,
so
him kissing
cute,"
him, yeah, kissing him.
and then you got the drool coming off of him.
Yeah, yeah, ew. Like it's silly, but I can totally understand, even watching it today, that kids could still be scared of this movie,
It's
which
just
is
fun,
phenomenal.
funny.
Anyways, yeah, not to go off
Anyways,
topic.
back to the movie. So there we find out that they require 12 children, 6 boys, 6 girls, for something called the blood moon,
Yep. So
and if they need the children's blood so they don't burn.
yeah, they don't burn in daylight
I
or in fire, or yeah, it was in fire,
Yeah,
and
so it's starting to get a little. I mean, it's a silly concept, but it's starting to get a little.
yeah, and it has to be one birth per month. So it's not like they need
Oh,
12
that's right. It's
kids.
got to
It
be the
was
12
January,
months.
February, March,
Yes,
April, May, June. Yeah, so like they just happen to know when these kids'
and does
birthdays
it
are.
doesn't have to be the same year. It just can be any
No, it
month.
could be any month, and they have to be. I know they. I'm pretty sure they should be kids. I don't think they have to be, but that's not
That's a
really
good point. Like,
established.
when does the age limit cut off that the
I
blood is no longer valid
Valve for
for them?
fireproof. And yeah, I remember Famke had two side witches.
Oh,
One that
one was kind of annoying.
one was definitely kind of
Uh,
annoying with the hair and the weird looking hair. I can't even think of who that was, or it doesn't really matter.
yeah.
Yeah, I would have preferred just to see Famke just doing her own thing because she was at least established and things that she did was pretty cool. Anyways,
And I think they capture the annoying witch there and they start interrogating her
yes, they do.
shortly after there. And that's where it becomes that whole action scene of they have to capture the 12th child, save the 12th child. It's action. It's not as fun as they intend it to be, and I didn't really care too much
Hmm?
about it. But yeah, they had her. I remember they had her locked up and
Oh yes.
they saved her. So what was next? Yeah, it was over the top, but not necessarily in a good way. And then I remember Peter Stormare's character killed the mayor.
Yeah, out of for no reason, just because he still wanted Hansel and Gretel around. Basically, yeah, strong. I don't even know what his role in this movie was.
He
I
was
want to say
like
a police
he was like the
officer.
sheriff, I
Let's
think.
say he was like a police officer, and like he's just for some reason had a hate on for Hansel and Gretel, who literally are just
Well, they
there
they punched him at the
to. Oh
beginning, right?
yes, that's true. They did show him some attitude, but like anybody that wanted, he's willing to kill because they they want them around.
Yeah, he had his own little goons there and just took violence in his own hands there. So what's next? Next we had that they had Gretel and the troll Edward came to
Yes,
save her.
you've met Edward briefly throughout, um, where Edward, yeah, he's this giant troll. He's CGI. He doesn't look too bad
No,
for
I thought he
CGI.
was actually probably one of the best parts of the movie. Actually, I thought he was kind of funny.
No, no, yeah, I enjoyed Edward, and yes, he saves her, and why? Like I'm trying to remember why, because they didn't really meet before, but you just see him hiding in the bushes, and you see Gretel getting beat up, let's say,
Yeah,
by
I think I
what?
ended up watching the extended cut or the R-rated version because they're trying to take advantage of her, and then all of a sudden you hear like a big noise in the trees, and Edward runs out,
And yeah,
And
he just
was he
squishes.
like stomps on
He
his face or
stomps
something?
on his face, and you see
So
the
you see the
explosion and
crazy
the
blood
blood
and
and all that. So bye bye character, and then she's just like, "What is your name?" And
does he says that word
he
obviously
obviously
must.
says Edward. He doesn't. He's unfamiliar. Like nobody really talks to him. He knows that he has to work for the witches because apparently trolls work for witches in this universe.
Yeah.
So
And then I remember very conveniently or coincidentally, they're walking in the woods and they find their old house.
yes, a
Now,
lot of this is coincidence
yeah, so
because
I don't know if
I will warn you about this movie is a lot of things happen that more than I know this is a far-fetched movie to begin with this concept, but a lot of things that happen, they're just everything's so close together, so it makes me think that everything just every town is like within an hour length away.
if it was intended that they were investigating close to their home, they should have.
Yep.
I don't recall them referencing it, like, well, we're close to where we grew up, or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because as
and
far as we saw, they just were in the woods, and then all of a sudden,
yep.
surprise, surprise, it's their old house.
Yeah, they show up at their old house and I'm trying and then yes, and then at this point I think they're either getting prepared or I remember the witches decide to go after
Yeah, go
Gretel.
after Gretel. So they go there and they find out that their mother was a witch, and then Gretel is captured, which, in my opinion, I thought made her look pretty weak.
Yeah,
Because they made a good job making her look like she could hold her own, but then also she's captured. And
yeah. Um, I did like the interesting point where it showed that the reason why they can fight these witches is because they are immune.
yeah, I didn't. I thought that was kind of neat.
Okay, that I'm all on board for that. It's pure coincidence that they got kidnapped by a witch as a kid, and they didn't know they were immune at this point. But like, I don't know why she didn't. The mom didn't just say, "Hey, just so you guys know, if witches ever get you, you can probably beat them
I
because
think
they can't hurt you."
I think it wasn't like maybe when they're older they're gonna tell them, but if I remember correctly, there was a witch hunt that was being led to their house, so they urgently had to get them out of to safety.
Yeah. One thing about these witches, I understand that they are immune and immune to witchcraft or whatever. But something that the witches could do is they could throw their surroundings at them. They're not, protected by the surroundings. So
Hmm.
the witch could make the house collapse or something like that, and then there's nothing they can do. It's not like, just because they're in the house, the witchcraft doesn't work. Like, so I thought that was like a little like, well, the witches, yeah, technically they can't put spells on them, but they could throw things at them
For
in their
sure.
general direction. So, and it might hit them, might stick, might not.
For sure. So then we find out that Mina, the woman that was being accused as a witch
That
early in
was
the movie, that they
saved
saved by
by
Han.
Hansel, who that was when he did the bow and arrow trick, the
Yeah.
Hawkeye trick.
Yeah, so surprise, surprise, you find out that she actually is a witch, but she's a good witch, which wasn't much of a surprise. I don't.
No, I knew it right away. I think yeah, if you're watching this movie and you see, oh, all witches are bad, while you're talking to the woman you just say being accused of a witch, and she's not saying anything, it's under the impression that she is a witch, and she's going to show herself as being good.
Right. So then they're getting prepared because they're gonna go save Gretel, and they do like a grimoire, which is they bless all the weapons and they dip it in like
Yeah, they build all
holy
kinds of
water.
weapons, and they give one to the fan,
Oh, Ben's
and
along for
yeah,
the ride, yeah,
yeah,
because
he's just like,
he's so important to the plot.
yeah, he was very important to be there. Is he a love interest? No, but he is important.
Mhm.
I'll tell you that right now. So they give him a big weapon because they're like, you need this one.
Yeah. So then it's what it all led to, the 12 children, 6 boys, 6 girls from the 12 months. It's the blood moon ceremony, which I don't know about you, but I thought this was probably the best part of the movie.
Yeah, there was a lot.
I thought this was actually really fun.
It was pretty cool to see like a giant cult of witches all together,
And they've
all
taken them
shapes and
out in fun
sizes.
ways. Like, this is what they tried to do earlier, like when I was talking about when they were going for the 12th child. That wasn't so fun, but this I thought accomplished what they were trying to do.
Yeah, I liked seeing the different witches because they didn't all look the same. Like I was mentioning, some looked ridiculous, but then they made some look like just regular people,
Yeah.
and I was like, that's pretty cool. They're not all wearing like black and
Mhm.
giant hats, and they had one that was like a voodoo witch, and so I thought it was pretty cool. And just looking at them, we're like, okay, how are they gonna beat all these
But
guys?
no, I thought this was, yeah, the best part of the movie. Just very fun to watch. It's kind of what I think they intended the movie to kind of be like, was what this sequence was.
Yeah, so
And then I remember Edward went after the main villain there and fell to his death, apparently.
yeah,
But
supposedly, yeah.
then we go back and we find Edward is brought back to life.
Yes, he is. They well, first of all, yeah, the fight scene was pretty cool. Renner made a joke before. They're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And the weapons they made were obviously strong enough to kill
That's
a weapon,
that's right, because
a witch.
before they were like, we have the ceremony, so we're safe. He shot one,
He
and
shot one, and he's just like, "I'm gonna shoot," and then
then they're
literally
all surprised that the
a
witch.
bullet can kill it, and
So that's where the action sequence started.
yeah, that's where it started. Everybody was fighting everybody, and like Steve said, basically, yeah, the Edward was saved, I guess, brought back to life
Yeah, Edward's
because
brought
he
back to
sacrificed
life.
himself, and
Mina, the good witch, dies at this point. And then again, surprise, surprise, which I guess if they found the old house, it's not that surprising, but coincidentally, they're back at the gingerbread house.
yes, they are. Exactly like I was saying, like everything is just coincidence. It's coincidence that all these people are witches, including, I guess, Gretel at this point, because if her mom was technically a
Hmm.
witch, then I guess she is. And yeah, they just coincidentally at their house. Now they're back at the gingerbread house. So yeah, and then there was I guess a final fight scene with the main baddie.
Muriel, yeah. And then they kill her off, and
They cut off her head.
yes, they like hang her and then cut off her
They
head or something?
hanged her. Yeah, they hanged her. They cut off her head, and then they threw her in the fire, but they didn't light the fire.
Right.
So I don't know if they were trying to point out that, oh, this is going to be a sequel or anything like
Franchise,
that.
yeah. And then I think how it ended is that Edward, Ben, and Hansel and Gretel are traveling together. They go to their next adventure.
Yes, basically, yeah, they show up, and it's kind of like a very quick scene, and it's even happening during the end credits, where they're showing them fight off another witch in kind of like a desert kind of area. Hopefully, that's not close. Yeah, so yeah, they're all together, and they all try to fight these guys, and they tell Edward to knock on the door, and that's when
Yeah,
he goes in, and then that's the end of the movie,
that was
and
the end of the movie.
the end credits. So I don't know. I mean, I obviously we've been kind of complaining a lot about it, but what did you actually think about it?
I thought it was actually kind of hard to watch. Sorry. I went in with, I was kind of like, okay, this will be a fun thing, but overall, I think they tried to make a ridiculous, fun, crazy, hip film, and for the most part, it was, except the fun.
Ah,
Performances were pretty good, and the material direction was over the top, but that's not quite. It wasn't quite earned. It was a nice try, but they should have took another stab at the script, I thought as well.
I probably liked it a little bit more than you did. I'm not saying it's my favorite movie of the year, but I was sitting down and I was not looking for the remote at any point. I was watching it, and obviously I'm not believing any of this, but I was having a good time. I thought
I
the
thought
witch
the Blood
scenes.
Moon was fun, but sorry,
Yeah,
continue.
no, I like the witch scenes. I thought, like I may have mentioned, I thought it looked really cool. The sets that they built were really nice.
Yeah,
The even the costumes and even the CGI wasn't that bad. So I probably enjoyed it more than you did.
Yeah, let's see. Like I thought the gingerbread house. I thought that's what they tried to make it, and they failed at other parts of the movie. Overall, I mean, it's a fun watch for what it is, and you can't take it too seriously. But I was having a hard time. I was definitely having a hard time finishing this movie.
Okay, so how would you make it better? What would you do to change the story if they're going to make a Hansel and Gretel movie exciting or at least interesting to people in 2016? How do you do it? Can you do it? Can you make a movie that about these two kids go into I guess a witch's candy house and for their I guess greed and then being attempted to be cooked alive? How do you make this interesting enough to be a success?
I think maybe if they made it not scary, but a little more scary, it might have made it even more fun when the surprising action happened. I didn't find it that scary for the witches. They tried to make it a little bit like it was a scary environment, but I just did not think so.
I didn't think any of it, yeah, was scary. There was no point that I scared even by the villain. I thought that she could do pretty cool things, but I probably would have liked, even hypothetically, if the witch, if she wasn't as crazy at the beginning. Let's say she was uh, a Famke. Let's say it was that witch,
Hmm.
and she just happened to somehow, God knows how, get out of the fire, come back, and she's leaving like candy around, and I don't know. Maybe that would have been, I don't want to say more interesting, but at least it would have put more into it or something like that, I guess. I'm not saying that would have made it better or worse, but I'm saying like, oh, your past is coming back to haunt you, kind of thing. Even more so. That could have been interesting, I guess. Is there? Would you keep the cast the way they are? Or?
No, I would definitely change up the cast. I mean, I thought they did their parts, but the way I see it is that if they were going to go for this type of movie, they could have casted more for the type of movie they're going for. What about you? Who? So we have Jeremy Renner playing Hansel. Do you have anyone?
I liked Renner as
Oh,
Hansel,
I thought he was good. I like
but
Renner.
if like I agree, if they're making this type of movie where I guess it's more action oriented.
Or comedy oriented.
Action comedy. I mean, who else do you go with? Do you go with Mark Wahlberg? Because I guess he does that, but I don't see him in these type of movies. So that would be really over the top, I believe, if he was in it. But he's Will Ferrell's friend, so I can actually see that happening in Adam McKay's. So I'm not really sure who else. I guess female wise,
So Gretel. Who do you got for Gretel?
that's a tough one as well. I like to think about like action adventure kind of movies, and I guess the only one that really comes to mind, although she's not a great actress at all, is Gina Carano. Just because she can actually fight, but that's pretty much it. I'm not. Do you? Would you have in mind?
For me, I see. I was going with the comedy aspect. That if you want to make this fun and funny and a little bit of action oriented, I thought, why not go with someone like Simon Pegg? He would just rip up the scenes and he would be hilarious as Hansel in this
Mm.
action environment that he's not overly comfortable or familiar with. Because if you see him in like Mission Impossible, you know how he is
So
in
would
the
you
action
prefer
scenes.
this as a parody
Not,
or?
you don't have to make it a parody, but almost more of like an Edgar Wright type movie. So if you
Okay.
see like how he
Yeah,
does with
yeah,
like
Shaun
Hot
of the Dead.
Fuzz
I understand.
and that, and for Gretel, I'm not sure. If you want to go really funny, you go with someone like Melissa McCarthy, but I went with maybe someone that looks somewhat like Simon Pegg and can also do the action seriously. So I just said, why not make it Uma Thurman?
Okay. Uh,
Do you have anyone for Muriel or Mina?
no, Funko was really good as it. I could also see somebody like Emily Blunt being
Right.
the bad guy because I think she could do that. And I'm sorry, who's the other suggestion?
Mina?
Oh, the Good Witch.
Yeah.
Was she really?
Yeah.
Is she really? I don't mean to be mean, but I don't think she's, I guess, important enough to
Vital. Yeah.
recast to make this any better or worse. She really didn't not that she contributed anything. She didn't really have that much dialogue anyways.
Right.
So no, if you're gonna go, you might as well go, especially in a supporting character at this time. Geez, no, I can't even think. I would say somebody that's
Okay. Well,
yeah.
let's see. So Muriel, I have. It's really hard because I thought Famke did her role and she did it well, but maybe someone like Julia Roberts. If you really want to make it funny, you can go with someone like Danny DeVito.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But Mina,
He would be the Troll King. But anyways,
yeah, Mina doesn't really matter. I just said maybe Amy Adams, but she wouldn't take that role. I'm
no,
sure.
not a. I can't see her taking a supporting role in like a movie like this, even if it's over the top or even a parody-ish. Because if you were saying,
Oh no, I was just saying. How about the important role of Ben? Do you have anyone for that?
Ben, again, if it's a supporting role in this environment, what's the guy in Kingsman? Give it to him.
Oh, are you talking? Wait, did the kid?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like Edgerton. He's in
Yeah,
Eddie the Eagle.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's Eddie the Eagle, which is also coming out. Yeah, I get at least people would be care more if it's somebody at least with some stature, but yet probably not big enough to be demanding of
See,
a.
me again. I'm going back towards the comedy, and I thought, uh, for such a silly role like the fan who maybe not reluctantly, but he joins in the action. I thought, let's make it. We got Simon Pegg. Let's make it T.J. Miller.
Yes. See, if you're going the comedy route, I would like T.J. Miller to be freaking Hansel. I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I
Although
don't
he
know if he'd
seems
be a
more
fan.
of a good support
He is a good support,
player.
but if you give him that kind of role, I think again, if you're thinking like, I know you're thinking more like you're right, but if it is going to be a parody kind of role, parody action, which is I'm gonna call it like the other guys, which is
Right.
it's not a serious movie, but it is an action comedy. So it's not like a complete parody, even though it technically is the other guys. So if that's the kind of movie that you're gearing towards, I think people would definitely gravitate towards T.J. Miller fighting witches and be like, okay, I can totally be on board for that.
Yeah, and I think if you had it with some of that cast, I think it would have been more widely accepted, and people would be more willing to just sit back and have fun with it.
Yeah,
If you have these naturally funny guys kind of already in the roles,
yeah,
kind of like Deadpool a little bit, where you have these funny guys just
yeah, exactly.
doing their thing. They don't take it too seriously, which they didn't in this, but
No, they
you
didn't.
just have the natural charisma of, for Deadpool. You have Ryan Reynolds and T.J. Miller.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Now the pointless casting. What about Peter Stormare? I don't think you really recast his
no, you don't
role,
recast him.
but if anyone, you just go with someone like John Malkovich.
Yeah, nobody's gonna again blink an
You just
eye.
need one of those type of actors. Christopher Walken, Christoph Waltz.
Yep. So how well did this movie even do? I didn't even look, to be
So this
honest.
movie came out January 25th, 2013, and worldwide it did okay. It made 226.3 million. And what's your guess on the Rotten Tomatoes?
I have not looked, and I'm going to guess it was about a 50. I'm gonna guess 50, solid 50.
You're gonna guess it's
I'm
50%?
gonna guess it went to
Well,
50.
you're definitely way off. On the Rotten Tomatoes meter, it was
Ooh,
15%, one
wow.
five.
No, I definitely deserves better than that for
I'd
sure.
say maybe a little bit, but I can't really disagree too much. Like I said, I was struggling with this one.
Uh, I don't know. To go that low though, I can't. No, when
There are
it's
some like
15%,
snotty
these are movies.
critics.
Absolutely, but 15%, that's like a movie that I can't watch
Right.
half of it. I will be on my phone. I just not caring.
Well, what I
That's
think
just
they're
me.
trying to do, they're trying to make it like a Tarantino movie. So it's like a Tarantino movie with like a European director, and that's exactly kind of what it felt like.
I understand your point, but it's just like you know what this movie's about. It's about Hansel and Gretel. So you know what you're going to see. They're not going to try to make this intelligent movie. But anyways, either way. So what would you rate this movie?
Out of 10, I'd say like I said, we'll make it better than the 15. We'll give it a 3.5 out of 10.
Okay, no, I don't even remember what I gave Wolverine, but I'm trying to remember.
I gave it well, you ranked yours out of 5 last week, so
Well, I eventually changed it, and yeah, I think I said 2.5 or 3.5 out of 5 at that point. I'm giving this one a 6. I
so
think
you
it's
like this one better than Wolverine last week.
it's either I like it the same or I liked it better. I think I liked it a little bit better
I
personally.
definitely like Wolverine better than last week.
Yeah, it's in my Hall of Fame. Well, not Hall of Fame. In my record, yeah, this one's better. I was more into this one. I guess. Yeah, no, I definitely would say I enjoyed this one more than last week's episode.
Okay.
So, other than The Witch, I don't know if I'm gonna go see this one. Hopefully, if I go see it. If anybody does go see it, should let us know.
I'll probably end up waiting for it to come on video because I'm not one that usually because all they try to do is the jump scare. I'm not really into seeing movies, horror films, unless they're well done, which I usually find out about too late.
Yeah, I love going to see horror films, but the problem is I have nobody to go with, and I don't like going to movie theaters by myself. I do see some people that do that. That's just not me. And yeah, I got friends that won't go see scary movies in theaters, or my wife will definitely just stay with the light on.
Yeah, my
So,
wife is the same way.
No, it's
But like you said, the ones you mentioned I actually liked. I liked The Conjuring. I liked Cabin in the Woods. I liked
so
It Follows.
so next week, the movies that come out. You mentioned Eddie the Eagle, that does come out, and also Gods of Egypt. So if we're gonna watch a movie related to those, I think we have discussed it. I think we should something that's relevant to Eddie the Eagle. I think that one might do a little bit better than probably Gods of Egypt.
I agree.
I'm not gonna say it's too well. So when we discussed it, I think we went with Cool Runnings,
Yes, well, because that's the one that's most easily
It's-
right off the top of your head. It's like that seems like
Okay,
Cool
yeah, it's the
Runnings.
same sort of story, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I remember seeing Cold Runnings, but we'll talk more about that next week. I'm excited to see that one again, refresh my
Yeah,
memory.
it's been a long time, and I've always been a huge John Candy fan, so I'm very excited to watch him. I'm always excited to watch him in any role he plays.
Okay, so
So where can people send if they have questions?
if you guys have any questions, feedback, or any sort of ideas, anything, you can either follow us on Twitter at Today's Feature. You can email us at Today's Feature Podcast at gmail.com, and you can find us on Podbean as well under Today's Feature.
And I think we also have a YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube
Yeah.
handle. You can find us again at Today's Feature. So you can find us at any of those places, and we encourage any responses, any likes, or any comments. So yeah,
Sure.
thank you guys for listening to this one. It's a little bit shorter than the last couple, but that's quite okay. I guess really too much to talk about this one.
No, we didn't. I think we wanted to just get this one out of the way, but we'll open up maybe the mailbag next weekend and answer some of your questions, and we'll dive into Cool Runnings.
All right. So I guess yeah, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Steven.
Thanks for listening.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
I am the one who knocks.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
My precious. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Excellent. $1 million.